And it is Aliyah Boston talking about her favorite teammates in the WNBA. And if we're being real, I would assume the teammate who gets 3 to 4 assists per game to her is probably her favorite teammate. The teammate that, keeps giving her the ball wide open 4 feet from the basket for her to shoot those pop shots.
Aliyah Boston just tossed a verbal grenade into the WNBA discourse, and the fallout has been glorious. In a casual interview moment that turned instantly nuclear, she was asked about her favorite teammates in the league, and without blinking, without pausing for PR polish or South Carolina diplomacy, she said Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. That was it. No, everyone brings something special. No safe, neutral answer. Just raw honesty. And the internet lost its mind. The same people who've been desperately trying to manufacture tension between Boston and Clark watched their entire narrative collapse in real time. Especially South Carolina fans, who weren't ready to hear their former star publicly name 2 Fever teammates over her college crew. Was it shade? Or was it simply truth? That's the question setting timelines on fire. Boston didn't sound conflicted, calculated, or confused. She sounded happy, comfortable, like someone who genuinely enjoys, who she's sharing the floor with. And that scares people who need drama to survive. So now the debate rages. Should teammates keep favorites quiet to protect feelings? Or is authenticity refreshing in a league drowning in forced narratives? Either way, one honest answer did what weeks of hot takes couldn't. It exposed who's rooting for basketball and who's just rooting for chaos.
I'm also going with 2. Can you guess who they are?
No.
Caitlin and Kelsey. I love those girls right there.
I knew that. I feel
like you could have guessed that.
I knew that, but I knew that.
I feel like you could have.
I don't know why I was thinking college too.
Oh, I was just thinking.
Okay, you're right.
But
you're a big girl now.
Caitlin, yeah, I am. I'm grown. I'm grown up. Caitlin and Kelsey, those are my girls. Like, I love those 2 so freaking much, and I love playing with them. It's crazy. So those are my 2.
And that's exactly why this whole controversy falls apart the moment you apply basic basketball IQ. Boston didn't hesitate because she didn't need to think. Her answer came straight from lived experience on the court. Caitlin Clark literally makes her job easier every single night. 3 to 4 assists a game to a center isn't accidental. It's intentional trust. Clark draws 2 defenders the second she crosses half court, manipulates up defense, and drops the ball right into Boston's hands 4 feet from the rim, like it's a layup drill. That's elite guard center chemistry, the kind bigs dream about. Of course, that's your favorite teammate. Kelsey Mitchell stretches the floor, forces defenders to stay honest, and gives Boston space to operate inside. This isn't shade, it's math. It's efficiency. It's winning basketball. People are mad because Boston didn't pretend feelings matter more than results. She didn't protect narratives. She told the truth. And the truth is this. When you're a post player getting spoon-fed easy buckets, running clean pick and roll, and playing with guards who actually see you, that's who you ride with. Not because of college loyalty, not because of politics, but because basketball rewards chemistry. The outrage isn't about disrespect. It's about fans realizing that the Fever's core works, and works really well. And once that clicks, a lot of manufactured drama stops making sense.
One of those things when it comes to Aliyah Boston, it's like people have tried to put Aliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark, pit them against each other. But at the end of the day, I think when people were doing that in like a basketball...
Exactly.
The beauty of Boston...
That's why her answer hit the way it did. You can hear it in her voice. There's no agenda, no PR varnish, no. Let me make sure I don't upset anyone back home. It's just Aliyah Boston being comfortable enough in who she is to tell the truth out loud. That kind of authenticity is rare now, especially in a league where every sentence gets dissected frame by frame on social media. You're also right about Erica Wheeler. Boston absolutely could have gone there and nobody would have blinked. Wheeler fed her early, helped her find her footing, and made a conscious effort to keep her involved. That would have been a perfectly safe, respectful answer. But Boston didn't reach backward. She talked about who she loves playing with now, the teammates she's building something with in real time. That matters. And that I'm grown line, that's the tell. That wasn't shade, it was closure. She wasn't dismissing South Carolina. She was drawing a line between chapters of her life. College was foundational. It made her who she is. But it's not her identity anymore. She's not living in that jersey, that locker room, or that hierarchy. She's a pro, and pros prioritize what helps them win today. That's where the backlash really comes from. Some fans don't want her to evolve. They want her frozen in time as the face of a program, a symbol they can still claim. But Boston has moved on, and she's allowed to. In fact, she should. Growth looks exactly like this. Choosing honesty over nostalgia, chemistry over sentimentality, and the present over the past. What she did wasn't controversial, it was healthy. And the reason it rattled people is because it quietly exposed something uncomfortable. Loyalty in sports is seasonal, but chemistry and trust are earned daily. Boston didn't betray anyone. She just told us where her basketball life actually lives right now. And that kind of clarity is powerful, whether people are ready for it or not.
What made you take Caitlin Clark's drink?
You just never, that's just who I am. I'm like, okay, you know what? You're going to be on camera. Let me just slide this out the view so we don't have to worry about it. No one has to see it. And obviously, the way I'm looking in the camera, I thought that, no one could see me. I was like, oh, no one can even see what's happening here, but I was wrong.
You look really guilty in this video. Caitlin looks like she's having a great time.
And I'm just like, excuse me, I'm just going to take this from you.
Just in her element. And Aliyah looks like the kid in class that raised their hand and told the teacher that they didn't collect the homework. That's what you look like. That's what you look like in that picture.
I did just have to take it. And I was holding it until she was done. I was like, it's okay. I'll just hold it.
The people who tried to pit Boston and Clark against each other just watched their whole narrative collapse. For months, a manufactured storyline claimed Boston and Clark didn't flow together. That tension simmered between them. Boston shattered that fiction by publicly naming Clark as one of her 2 favorite teammates anywhere in the league. For everyone watching across the WNBA landscape.
The good news is you get the #1 pick.
Yes.
And that obviously becomes Caitlin Clark.
Yes.
What are she joins the team. What are some of your early impressions of her?
I thought she was super nice. I think it's always weird when you're used to competing against someone. Yeah. I was I forgot, we were doing something. We had something. I was like, Caitlin, I just want to say, I'm really upset that you did what you did in that Final Four game. I was like, I feel like I just need to get it off my chest because we are teammates, but I'm like, you didn't have to do all that. You did not have to go for 40 on our dome. Girl, we could have just had fun. Yeah, but after that, it was cool because obviously now we're on the same team, so you don't worry about that. But I always thought it was funny because I'm like, we just went from competing against each other, you beating us, and now we're on the same team. Yeah. It's I was like, girl, it's okay. I get it. I'm not mad at you for real, but I am. Because why would...
Let's talk about the basketball fit, because this is where everything gets genuinely fascinating. Because when Clark arrived in Indiana, Boston didn't resist a change. She embraced it, completely reshaping her game to amplify Clark's style, evolving from a bruising, back-to-the-basket center into an elite face-up threat, getting faster, sharper laterally, improving her perimeter defense to the point she can switch onto guards, becoming more effective in pick-and-roll and pick-and-pop actions, and turning into a far more reliable shooter. And that transformation wasn't accidental. It was intentional and necessary, because if Indiana had landed the 2nd pick instead of the 1st, they would have taken Camila Cardoso. Boston would still be operating as a traditional bruising center in high-low sets. Christy Sides would likely still be the coach, and the Fever probably never make the playoffs. And that's not a knock on Boston or Cardoso. That's simply reality, because Boston reworked her entire game to maximize her partnership with Clark. And honestly, it's fair to question whether Clark could have done the same if the roles were reversed, because could Clark thrive in a slowed-down, post-centric system run through back-to-the-basket bigs? That's genuinely questionable, as Clark excels in up-tempo systems where she controls pace and creates freely, and asking her to adapt to something completely different might not have worked. But Boston made it work. She changed everything. And the results speak loudly. The Fever made the playoffs, became one of the league's most exciting teams, and Boston and Clark built real chemistry on and off the court, which is why Boston is now openly calling Clark one of her favorite teammates ever. And predictably, the comment sections are chaos. South Carolina fans upset, Clark haters upset, and the people who pushed the Boston doesn't like Clark. Narrative scrambling for excuses. But the simplest answer is usually the truth. Boston genuinely loves playing with Clark because their games fit, and they've built an authentic friendship. And when someone asked about Brea Turner and whether Boston would keep or trade her, the response was realistic. If Turner comes on a minimum, you take her as a solid 10th to 12th player. But she's clearly not in the same tier as Clark or Mitchell in terms of importance or connection. And then came the comment saying, please sign the CBA, which looms over everything because the WNBA and Players Union still haven't finalized a new agreement. The schedule is out. Games are planned. Yet technically the season isn't guaranteed. Though in reality it will happen because too many players can't afford a stoppage, with players who made under $100,000 last year now staring at $500,000 contracts if the season goes on, meaning they're not striking. They need that money. And while the union talks solidarity, privately most players would oppose a strike, making the threats largely hollow. Because owners know the leverage, and the smarter move would be a shorter CBA with opt-outs tied to revenue growth. But circling back to Boston and Clark, their partnership may be the most important in the league right now. Clark is the biggest draw in women's basketball. Boston is one of the most talented young bigs, together forming a core that could dominate for years. And the fact they genuinely like each other, that the chemistry is real and not manufactured, matters more than any storyline, because you can't fake that. And the people desperate to create drama between them just watched every narrative about tension, fit issues, or resentment get obliterated by one honest answer, reminding everyone how disconnected sports narratives often are from reality. Because Boston doesn't care about noise. She cares about winning and playing with people she trusts. And those people are Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell, and her growth from college centerpiece to adaptable WNBA star shows maturity, sacrifice, and commitment as she fully embraced a new role and built something real. And she's flourishing in ways that never would have happened if she'd stubbornly clung to the same college version of herself. That's what elite players do. They grow. They adjust. They choose winning over ego or stat chasing. Boston could have pushed back, could have demanded the offense stay centered on her post touches like it was at South Carolina. But she understood that path wasn't the one that led to winning. So she reshaped everything about her game to elevate the team. And now the payoff is undeniable. The Fever reached the playoffs. Boston's value has never been higher. She's sharing the floor with one of the biggest stars in basketball. And she's visibly happy, which absolutely enrages the critics. The South Carolina fans struggling with this need to accept that careers move forward. College is only a moment in a pro athlete's journey. Boston's loyalty belongs to her present team and her current teammates. That doesn't erase what she achieved at South Carolina. It simply means she's grown past that chapter and is locked in on her professional future. Aliyah Boston said Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell are her favorite teammates, and the haters lost their minds. The narrative about tension between Boston and Clark just collapsed. If you enjoy watching real chemistry expose fake drama, smash the like button. If you think Boston should have softened her words, hit subscribe and explain it below. Either way, this Fever core is